Williams-Brice Stadium. 21-0 our score as we are moments away from third quarter football. South Carolina with 3 long scoring drives over 70 yards to take this 3-touchdown lead. Dave Neal, Andre Ware back alongside. Obviously coming into this one, the storyline was Connor Shaw. Could he go with a bruised shoulder or not? The answer to that was a definitive no from the coach about 10 o'clock this morning. So Dylan Thompson gets his first start. Assess his play.
I tell you what, it was near perfect. I said during the first half that the only red mark I would give him was basically taking a sack when he could have gotten rid of the football, but he's been on time and in rhythm. Placement of the football here on the deep ball has been near perfect. Getting the ball out on time when the receivers are coming out of their breaks. You see again the placement of the football for a guy making his first start has been exceptional, and I know it's been a pleasant surprise to this South Carolina coaching staff.
Now defensively, a goose egg on the board, and Jadeveon Clowney has just really made an impact in this one.
Yeah, he really has. I thought he caused both interceptions, not allowing the quarterback to step into throws, which they came up a little bit short, and all of a sudden the end result was an interception by South Carolina's defense. But he's been disruptive. He's been all over the field today in the face of Rio Johnson for most of the first half.
Well, as far as East Carolina goes, they just haven't been able to sustain anything. They've had a couple of big plays, but they always seem to sputter out. What do they need to do to keep some momentum offensively?
Believe it or not, trailing 21-0, they need to run the football, because when you can make a team one-dimensional, the way Lorenzo Ward, South Carolina's defensive coordinator, has, now it's easy. Now you know exactly what they're going to do. Got to run the football with some success. In the first half, only 3 rushes for 6 yards for East Carolina.
East Carolina will get the football first. South Carolina won the toss. They elected to take the football, and that worked out pretty good for the Gamecocks. Went down and scored on their opening possession. Landon Ard will have the honors of kicking it off to start the second half.
Made one of those Lance Ray 90-yard kickoff returns right here.
This would go down in the books as 100 if he could find some room. Not going to happen. He stopped shy of the 15-yard line. And that's one of those things you got to make a decision now with the new touchback rule out to the 25. Look at our Crystal first half stats. Nothing like a Crystal.
Yeah, kind of surprising when you look at East Carolina. They ran the football pretty well last week against App State, and then just only 6 yards in the first half, which tells me that they're not even attempting to establish any type of running game against South Carolina, and they're allowing Jadeveon Clowney and Devin Taylor and Chaz Sutton, all the defensive ends and D-line of South Carolina, to really get involved.
Shane Carton will get the start here in the second half to replace Rio Johnson. Of course, it was a 3-way battle for that quarterback job, and Jadeveon Clowney first play in the second half.
I think this is a mistake. I think Rio Johnson's fine. The 2 interceptions, he can't step into throws, and I don't know that I fault him on that. You go to the offensive line, solid statistically when you look at it, other than the interceptions, which I don't believe were his fault. 17 of 26, 187. So I don't know about this move.
Carton from your neck of the woods in Houston, and his first pass is picked off. Shaq Wilson, the leader of this defense, the senior out of Jacksonville, Florida, comes up with the pick, his second of the young season.
Unless a guy is just awful. And Rio Johnson's performance in the first half, I thought, was far from anything that resembled awful. To make a quarterback change, he's getting all the reps in practice. Coming into this game, I thought he was throwing the football well. The last couple of drives, they go right down. Is it his fault that a freshman receiver fumbles the football when they're driving? No. I think he deserves the right to come out in the second half and play, and I don't agree with this move whatsoever.
South Carolina with outstanding field position inside the 30 of East Carolina. Thompson hit as he throws to the corner of the end zone. Pass is dropped out of bounds, incomplete. Let's go downstairs, visit with Kara.
Well, coincidentally, one of Ruffin McNeil's messages to East Carolina at the half was putting a premium on ball security, and you saw what happened there in the first possession. He said execution football IQ. It's not what we do, it's how we do it. And he told the guys the bus isn't leaving till this is over, so let's give it 30 more minutes. Well, then you sit half of the offensive line that didn't protect, and then you sit receivers that drop passes. That eliminates about half your football, half your offense.
Thompson, time again, going to the corner. A little bit short with the pass, knocked away at the last moment. Good coverage from Adonis Armstrong. Ace Sanders was the intended receiver, but a little underthrown from Dylan Thompson.
I thought Ace Sanders did a nice job. This ball's underthrown, and Armstrong's going to come up with a pick, and Ace goes up and just basically fights for the football. Sometimes as a receiver, when you know it's thrown short, you got to turn into the defensive back in that situation.
So now it's 3rd down and 10.
They got to figure out a way to get Ace Sanders a few more receptions. He is magical in the open field.
Here comes some heat. Thompson stays on his feet. Lofts it up to the middle of the field. It's caught, first down, and a lot more. D.L. Moore gets a block to the 5. Gives South Carolina 6. Dylan Thompson kept it alive for the Gamecocks to put another touchdown on the board.
Well, you had a shot at Dylan Thompson. They bring the pressure off the edge by the outside linebackers, and you got to wrap up. But how about this? Keeping your eyes down the field to find D.L. Moore, and what I like most, freezing. That block by Justin Cunningham peeling back allowed for D.L. Moore, to get himself into the end zone. Excellent block right by Cunningham, the big tight end. He's thrown, Dave, a couple of those today. Boy, loving it right now. I'm telling you, there will be some decisions going into next week of who's going to be the quarterback in South Carolina, and some tough ones. My bet, it's Dylan Thompson going forward.
Justin Dixon was an injured East Carolina player. He gets up and walks off under his own power to that East Carolina sideline. Looked as though East Carolina had Thompson wrapped up in the backfield, but Dylan, with the word I love, the escapability.
Just enough of it. Just enough. You don't have to run 4-4 to play that position. Just move around a little bit.
After up and good for Adam Yates and company, and it's 28-0. You know, South Carolina scored their opening touchdown in 1 minute and 13 seconds. This one was 1 minute and 16 seconds. We'd like to recognize our friends at Allstate for their charitable contributions across the country. Since 2005, Allstate has donated more than $2.6 billion through the Good Hands Field Goal Net program to benefit University General Scholarship funds.
I like that when you have players making plays, Dylan Thompson having fun, but the unsung heroes really get my attention. Big Justice Cunningham, the tight end, coming back throwing blocks. I love stuff like that. You're not getting the football, you're unselfish, you're playing for the team.
Dylan Thompson today is 15 out of 26, 245. And you know, 3 touchdowns and no picks.
The reason why I say I think it's going to be Dylan Thompson moving forward, it allows South Carolina to be more like Steve Spurrier type teams. And they go to the spread option, zone read when it's Connor Shaw. This is what Steve Spurrier, this is where his expertise lies. Throwing the football and then mixing with Marcus Lattimore. Or you can predominantly Marcus Lattimore.
Lance Ray with another chance, this one from the 3. Ray out over the 15, out to the 17-yard line. Just a 15-yard return. Some excellent coverage from South Carolina's kickoff team.
Let's take a look at Dylan Thompson. You think this guy's having fun? How about a few celebrations, a few dance moves, fist pumps, getting the crowd involved? And he is engaged in this thing, and all of a sudden everybody's feeding off his body language. Not one time have I felt since he completed that long one did he not have the confidence to finish this thing off. It has just continued to grow. What a nice start to a career for Dylan Thompson in making his first start this afternoon.
Rio Johnson back in the game at quarterback for East Carolina. He will hand it off. Spin move from Reggie Bullock. He's out over the 25 to the 26. Good 7-yard pickup. Mario Jeffrey in on that tackle for the Gamecocks. But, you know, you wonder now what's Shane Carden, the backup who just came in now, his mental state after the interception.
Well, you damage both guys.
Right.
Just Carden comes out after an interception, and Rio Johnson, he's ticked off because he didn't get to start the second half. Well, there's no winning in that deal.
Pass is complete and then stripped out of there by South Carolina. Jimmy LeGree reached in there and just yanked it right out of the hands. And that'll be a South Carolina football.
Oh, and the sure-handed Bodenheimer, who usually secures the football, just holding him up. And God, this is all taught right here. Guys still up, reach in there and rake it out. That's what that defensive staff, they work on all the time. Let's check to see if the knee is down. Well, right there. Any part touching, and then the ball comes out. This one may be reviewed and overturned. I think this is going to be ruled down. Coach McNeil not agreeing with the call, and I agree with him. But they teach that stuff, Dave. They work on it all the time. Reaching in, a guy's still fighting for yards, rake the football out. One more look here. You see LeGree raking, but looks like his backside's already down before the football comes out. Another look. This is the best look, I think, right here, where the ball's not out, and right there, he's down.
Well, we will wait for our replay group. Gerald Hodges has the honors today of taking a look at the video.
Andrew Bodenheimer, that's not a play that he's usually a part of. He can catch everything. He blocks well. He's one of the team leaders. You get that type of description, you can't put the football on the ground. He is a sure-handed guy, about as steady as they come, and he got up immediately and was saying that he felt like he was down.
Ruff and McNeil trying to get this program to the level Skip Holtz had it at before Coach Holtz went to.
He had it humming now. Skip Holtz can coach some football.
Steve Spurrier trying to maintain some of this success. And, as he said time and time again, I mean, it's about SEC championships. I mean, that's what he's in it for. I mean, and he's always said that's the first step in winning a national championship is you got to win the league title first. And that's what he's shooting for the South Carolina team to celebrate one of those, because as he said, there is nothing like it.
Back-to-back 11-win seasons. And the only thing I think left for him to do at South Carolina is to win the SEC. Win the SEC, you got a pretty good shot at the national championship as well.
Well, what he said there, if you could read lips, I kind of did there, said that the player was ruled down before the fumble. It will be East Carolina football.
Which I think is the absolute correct call. Andrew Bodenheimer was the first to get up and share his thoughts with the officials and then his coaches to try to get that thing reviewed. And every play, remember, in college football is reviewed.
The clock will start on the ready as Bodenheimer was inbounds. Out of that pistol formation. A shoulder fake by Johnson. Has time, dumps it over the middle, and that one was incomplete. Behind his intended receiver, Jabril Solomon.
Intended for Solomon.
That's one I think Solomon's got to come up with. Fight and work in the pocket. Protection breaks down, and his eyes are still down the field. And Johnson's a first-year starter himself. When you watch film on him, he doesn't kind of handle himself as a first-year starter. Looks like he's been around the block a couple of times and never seems to get rattled in the pocket.
2nd down and 10. Here comes some heat again from South Carolina. Picked off, going the other way. Jimmy LeGree, that's 6. 33 yards.
Boy, stared it down, and Jimmy LeGree in man-to-man coverage makes a nice break on the football. And that, Dave, is what I'm talking about, where you got both quarterbacks confused. When you know you're trying to be perfect with the football, it gets timed and read, and now a pick 6. And now you have, if you have 2 quarterbacks that are playing at this point, neither can be effective.
That is 4 interceptions by this South Carolina defense today. Last year, this club had 19 picks, and a couple of them were pick 6s. Well, the offense has been solid today, but the defense has been just a little bit better. Jimmy LeGree with the interception for a touchdown. Today's SEC Network game is brought to you by the 2013 Buick Verano, unexpected luxury in a car this size. NFL Mobile from Verizon, built to bring you the game. The new Capital One Cash Card for people who want 50% more cash. Honda Generators. Enter the Honda Generators tailgate giveaway for your chance to win a new Honda generator. And by Woodman of the World. Some shots of Coach Spurrier through the years. What a career he has had. His club up 35-0 here in the 3rd quarter. You know, he is 2nd in wins at South Carolina in the history of this program. He is chasing down Rex Enright. By the end of the year, he may be the all-time winningest coach.
Amazing. Head ball coach.
7 times SEC Coach of the Year, 12 years at Florida. He's in his 8th season here at South Carolina.
So essentially 19 years, he's won it 7 times. That's salty. That's pretty good.
Once again, great coverage. Lance Ray nowhere to go, only a 13-yard return. For more on Coach Spurrier, once again, here's Kara.
When I met up with him this morning after the Gamecock walk, he was very proud to point out to me that his name is now here at Williams-Brice Stadium, commemorating 2011 most coaching wins in a season with 11. You know he's proud of that, you guys, if he's pointing that out before a little interview pregame, and he's got so much on his mind, like who's starting at quarterback today.
No doubt about it. And sometimes you have to take a step back and just look at your body of work sometimes in order to appreciate it going forward.
Shane Carden back in at quarterback for the Pirates. He'll hand it off, inside handoff, nowhere to run against that defensive front. And, you know, the thought on Coach Spurrier is you keep asking, I'm sure a lot of fans, how much longer does he want to do this? How much longer is he going to be able to put that energy and effort into running not only this team but the offense as well? Well, we have the luxury of spending some time with him, some good quality time. And, folks, there is not one indication at all that this man is slowing down.
Tell you what, you know, he's still involved in everything. I think the only thing that you may graduate to is maybe almost turning over play calling duties and just kind of being a manager at some point, but not for a while. He has still got the energy and the passion to be very much involved.
Can't block Clowney. A hold in the process. A flag comes in. Davian Clowney just has been a monster, and the numbers at the end of the day may not show the impact he's had on this one.
Well, I tell you right here, just a nice outside power rush, and you got the face mask. Kelsey Quarles along in that play as well lost his helmet, so he's got to exit the game for one play. Correct call though. I mean, he got there, just got to grab the shoulder pads as opposed to the face mask. And we talked about it from the top. What a fantastic athlete. 3 pressures, a sack, 3 tackles. And then I thought every much involved in those 2 interceptions, those early interceptions by Rio Johnson, when he was right in the face of him, where he can't step into the throw, and affected the throw so much that they were intercepted.
So after the face mask penalty against Clowney, it's 1st down and 10. Handoff goes to the right side, and Dobson, the 35. Once again, here's Kara.
Guys, last year on the sidelines, Jadeveon Clowney was very stoic, very quiet, and just watching and learning. I actually saw him earlier today go up to the receiving corps, claim that he couldn't make a play and that he was being inspired by their play. You've seen that result.
On 2nd down and 5. There's that defensive front. Nothing happening on that play. Aldrick Fordham leading the charge for the Gamecocks.
Well, you know, it's kind of, it feeds and filters down through the entire team when guys start making big plays. You think they're not feeling, the same enthusiasm that Dylan Thompson's feeling, or a receiver that's caught a touchdown pass? Those guys, they're affected by it on the other side of the ball as well. That's why it's called a team game.
East Carolina has yet to convert a 3rd down in this game. Looks like some more heat coming from the Gamecocks. They'll actually send 4 right through the hands of Jabril Solomon. That is the 2nd or 3rd time Jabril had a chance to make a play and couldn't come up with the football.
Jabril Solomon may be affected by this atmosphere just a little bit. True freshman in an environment like this.
Coming back home.
Yep.
From Hemingway, South Carolina.
We saw a couple of guys last week that could handle it. Todd Gurley could handle it, I promise you.
Borderell. Patterson, also for Tennessee, can handle it, as can A. Sanders to midfield and knocked out of bounds in East Carolina territory. A 39-yard punt and a 30-yard return. So South Carolina in complete control. Dylan Thompson back on the field when we come back.
Chick in the studio now for our AT&T All-America Player of the Week update. George Wynn ran for a pair of touchdowns, including a 58-yarder on Cincinnati's first play of the game to lead the Bearcats past Pittsburgh 34-10. Text VOTE to 34763 from your mobile phone to vote and for a chance at a trip to the national championship.
All right, we're back here in Columbia. 35-0 South Carolina out in front. It has been the story of turnovers for East Carolina. 4 interceptions, a fumble today. South Carolina has made ECU pay. Thompson back on the field. His numbers today: 15 of 26, 245, 3 TDs and no picks. Going up top, right out of the gate, lofts it up in the air, and almost a one-handed grab from Shaq Rowland, who they are definitely trying to get into the mix here this afternoon.
No doubt about it, and a couple of long passes have been just off the mark for Shaq Rowland, working against Jacoby Jenkins. And right there, hands on it, it looked almost identical to one that he couldn't come up with in the first half. I want to see him just make a catch. What does he do after he's got it? Throw him something short, screen pass, anything, just to get him the football.
So 2nd down and 10. Does South Carolina run it here? Yes, they will. Lattimore gets a little taste, gets a couple of yards on the carry. Gain of 2. Lattimore now 13 carries, 41 yards. First and 10 line brought to you by your local Toyota dealers.
Lattimore, so effective.
3rd down. Thompson, pocket collapses. Looking for Shaq Rowland. Incomplete. Down on the play is Justin Dixon, who not only lost his helmet, but immediately started signaling for the medical team to come onto the field. Hope that's just a cramp.
Yeah, it's humid, it is hot, and you get down on the field, it seems like it's, you know, about 10 degrees warmer, but nice job there continuing to work. Mike Matulis, the left tackle, and Marcus Lattimore in pass coverage, and he was injured earlier.
Justin Dixon for ECU.
Justin Dixon. So hopefully he'll be okay.
Thompson has gotten himself out of some trouble today. I think that's what
he's showing a lot. I mean, he is showing, and keeping your eyes down the field when you escape the trouble has been what's impressed me about him. Having some fun on a Saturday afternoon.
wobbly kick. That will sail out of bounds by Tyler Hull. That'll give us an opportunity to step aside for a moment. 35-0 Gamecocks.
Matt Chick in the studio with an update. Mississippi State and Auburn. Ladarius Perkins from 21 yards out. He would get in. Offensively, the Bulldogs outgaining Auburn 349-94. They're up 18.
Boy, Andre.
Sounds like they missed Gus Malzahn.
You know, that's just a Mississippi State team that's right on the edge, the cusp. And maybe this is the kind of game that can kind of get them over that hump. We'll see. Long way to go in the year, but a lot of momentum over there in Starkville with Dan Mullen running that show. So Carden with the completion and a big hit at the 35-yard line. Jabril Solomon, who dropped a couple this time, he says there's no way I'm dropping this one. Takes a shot, holds on, gain of 14.
Nice grab there by Jabril Solomon, and moving away from pressure, Shane Carden with a nice accurate throw to the true freshman. He was highly recruited coming out of high school, as you mentioned, Hemingway, South Carolina. Hemingway High School.
Clowney came crashing in from the end, almost made the tackle behind the line. Didn't work, but Chaz Sutton is there after a gain of 1 for Dobson.
What makes him so dynamic, the wingspan. Watch him here, kind of almost out of position, running away from him, and he's still able to reach and get a piece of the ball carry.
Bullock on that carry. Now Dobson's back in the game. Bullock to the sideline.
Rave enough about that talented young man, Jadeveon Clowney.
Setting up the screen. Dobson.
What a play by Victor Hampton. Being blocked, fights through the block, and makes the tackle on Dobson. Oh, what a nice play. Watch him out in space. You get out in these spread offenses, you have to be able to tackle in space. Right here, taking on the blocker and slipping the block to get back inside and then still make the tackle on Michael Dobson. Boy, that's excellent defense right there.
Carden. Up in the hands of Dobson. TJ Gurley brings him down. That'll be a first down.
Nice block by the right guard, Will Simmons, out in front of Michael Dobson.
Quick snap. Dobson again. Maybe a yard on the play.
Well, this is what I thought earlier that East Carolina should do, is run the football, even coming out of the second half, and it was just 21-0. You need a quick score. get the football first, you can still try to establish the run. You have to make South Carolina respect you running the football, or at least the threat of it, to open up some passing lanes for your quarterback.
Carden over the middle. Pass is caught down inside the 30-yard line. That'll go to the 6'8" junior Justin Jones.
I really think he's got a big future. I think he's got next level talent. 6'8", 258. Catches the ball well. He's a good online blocker at the line of scrimmage. Bright future for Justin Jones.
To the near side, Bullock. Pick up 4, maybe 5. Quinn Smith, the first one there for South Carolina, but this looks to be one of the better drives of East Carolina all afternoon.
And that's a nice job of playing the position of quarterback by Shane Carden. Looking zone coverage inside, which frees up the back Bullock for the reception. Move coverage inside, and all of a sudden you got a guy standing out there wide open.
Carden dropped back at the 28-yard line. A loss of 4 on the play. That pocket just caves in. Gerald Dixon, first man there for South Carolina.
Good program. Rock Hill, South Carolina, South Point High School. There's a few good players out of South Point. The other one is wears jersey number 7. Jadavian Clowney.
Good pickup on the blitz. Little dump off to Solomon, and he is well shy of the first down marker. Good job by Bullock to save his quarterback. But in the end, South Carolina steps up.
Well, you see why Lorenzo Ward is so high on his corners. Hampton and Legree. Legree with the interception for a touchdown, and then Hampton a couple of different occasions. And actually Hampton's better known for his ability to cover. Man-to-man skills, great man skills, but slipping blocks and making plays and fearless when he comes up to hit you. There's no wonder he's high on these two cornerbacks.
On 4th down, batted in the air and caught. Inside the 10 goes Danny Webster, a gain of 16 and a first down. It'll be 1st and goal.
Carden has added somewhat of a spark here with just under 3.5 minutes left in the ball game. Tipped by Shaq Wilson, but finds its way into the hands of Danny Webster. Look at him work the pocket. Tipped by Shaq Wilson. But he'll find the football.
Out of the pistol, handoff. Dobson gets a couple on the play. It'll be 2nd and goal. We'll take a look at our Red Zone, brought to you by Verizon Wireless. First time today East Carolina has been in the red zone. They were 3 out of 4 with 3 TDs last week. First trip inside the scoring area.
Certainly 4 downs for Ruff and McNeil going forward here.
Hunter Furr in the game in the backfield as ECU goes up top, incomplete. Justin Hardy makes another good catch, but this time he was a half a foot out of bounds. But Hardy has been the man today for East Carolina.
I think Hardy's a player. I really like Justin Jones, those two guys. And then with a freshman in there, Solomon. I think they've got a solid group. Danny Webster's made a couple of grabs today, as well as Bodenheimer. They've got enough. They just got to find a way to consistently get those guys the football. If they can get some a little bit better protection, they can sprinkle it around like they want to.
3rd and goal from the 8. Carden keeps it off the right side. He'll get a yard. So now you're looking at 4th and goal, and Byron Gerardo with his third tackle today, leads the charge for the Gamecocks.
Coaches are looking for him to have a better performance this week than he had last. He had a solid camp, Jared, in there, but this one I don't know if I agree with. Well, you don't want to go home without having scored a point, but
you're also trying to get your kicker maybe a little confidence. He's missed his first 3 this season. That one's on the way, and it is good. 23-yarder for Warren Harvey. He had missed from 46 today, but connects, and the Pirates are on the board with the 3-pointer. Carolinians, don't miss one of the premier preseason basketball tournaments in Charleston, South Carolina, featuring Baylor, Murray State, St. John's, Boston College, and more in the 5th annual Charleston Classic presented by Foster Grant. For more information, visit charlestonclassic.com today.
Baylor, excellent season a year ago, and you had Colorado and Dayton, both 20-game winners. College hoops, right around the corner.
They start practicing about a month, I believe. Ruffin McNeil.
You mean official practice?
Yeah.
We're already working on the game. Never stop working on your game if you're a basketball player.
Fall baseball practice actually starts next week. Some individual workouts and stuff going on right now. It's sports year-round. That's why the two-sport guy to me is such a an anomaly in this world of college athletics now, because it's just so hard to manage that when so much time is dedicated to the one sport you play. And coaches, I mean, look what happened to Russell Wilson at NC State.
I'm still a believer that at a young age you play them all, because one helps the other. When you run track, you get speed for football. Baseball helps to build your hand and eye coordination for football if you're playing those two sports. So not totally buying into the specialization yet.
Harvey will kick it off through the end zone, and that'll come out to the 25. Time for our C-Spire conference call. Once again, the SEC littering the top 25. Headed up by Alabama, who jumped over Southern Cal to take over that #1 spot. There's Florida in there, number 24, but 5 teams inside the top 9.
You get to see Florida and A&M. You get to they're going to introduce A&M to the SEC today down in Bryan College Station. Nice football game, physical game.
Here's the handoff to Kenny Miles. We didn't know if we'd see Kenny today. Bruised his knee a little bit against the Commodores. 1:30 and counting here in the 3rd quarter in a game that has been, on the scoreboard anyway, dominated by South Carolina. East Carolina has produced 287 yards of offense, 52 plays, but South Carolina has 337 yards of offense on 54 plays. There's a little reverse. Amir Byrd is run out of bounds. It's a loss of 2. Time now for SEC Trivia Challenge, brought to you by Regions Bank. And our question this week: Alabama took #1 this week in the AP polls we just saw. Now, when was the last time that no SEC team was at #1 at some point throughout the entire season? No SEC team ranked #1 at any point during the season. When was the last time that happened?
I think you got to go way back to the years when Bobby Bowden was doing their thing at Florida State. You probably know that, being a Florida State alum, a lot better than I would, but it's been quite some time. Certainly not in the BCS era.
Careful, my friend.
Really? Yeah,
the only reason I know is because when they showed me that earlier, I looked it up because I couldn't imagine it. Pass is caught for a first down after the 37, a gain of 12. There's Shaq rolling on that grab.
That shocks me. Not that Shaq Rowland caught this ball, but that during the BCS era that an SEC team wasn't ranked #1. That is surprising.
At some point
shocking.
during the year.
It's shocking.
We'll get that answer to you.
Finally got Shaq Rowland the football.
Crowd with a nice round of applause on his first career catch as a Gamecock. Nice touch on that pass to the wide side of the field. And inside East Carolina territory goes Demir Bird, a gain of 28. Adonis Armstrong on the coverage and tackle. Well, I'll let you ponder that question a little bit longer, as that's the end of the third quarter, and South Carolina having a good afternoon in their season home opener. Back in a moment. Thompson has had a day in his first career start for the injured Connor Shaw, who did dress out and warmed up, but Andre was looking at him quite closely, and early on Andre knew it wasn't going to be Connor Shaw's day. But it is Dylan Thompson's day. That's another 13-yard pickup. Dylan Thompson is closing in on 300 yards through the air. He is now up to 298.
17 to 30, had a couple of drops in there, 285 and 3 touchdowns. And Marcus Lattimore, I thought he'd carry the football 30 times today with Dylan Thompson, but right out of the gate they were confident and comfortable with him at quarterback, where it took a lot of pressure off having to run and use Marcus Lattimore.
13 carries, 40 yards for Lattimore, and Kenny Miles getting a little bit of work.
And you're just kind of leery. You know, when coaches tell you something about, well, this guy's not going to go, we're going to start this one. And then, you know, we've been bit by that one before, where all of a sudden it's totally different than what you were told before pregame. So I was kind of looking and really watching Connor Shaw during warm-up, and after a couple of throws, and I'm like, no, he's not faking that one. It'll be Dylan Thompson today.
Nice work by Sanders, who will then throw into the end zone. Touchdown! Sanders made a whale of a grab, and then a gentle throw to the end zone to D.L. Moore. 16 yards and a little razzle-dazzle from the head ball coach.
See, now he's having fun. This is Steve Spurrier type football, and I think Dylan Thompson gives him the ability to be this way. You know, when you have a little bit of razzle-dazzle, when you can throw the football around, this is the way Coach Spurrier likes to play. That's why I think and expect Dylan Thompson to be the quarterback of this football team next week, even with a healthy Connor Shaw.
Well, that didn't work. Complete breakdown in the extra point game for South Carolina, but nonetheless. So Dylan Thompson, Ace Sanders, D.L. Moore.
Coming up after this game on the SEC Network, most of you will see #1 Alabama host Western Kentucky. A.J. McCarron, 2 touchdowns in last week's win over Michigan.
Well, that'll be coming up when we get finished here in Columbia. Boy, Alabama just a machine. And I think the most impressive thing about Alabama was the dominance in the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't even a contest.
That's where they win football games. It all starts there and filters out. And they control the line of scrimmage both on defense and along the offensive line. We're talking about Alabama, Dave. I think they've got the best offensive line in all of college football. Cyrus Kwanjo, a part of that offensive line. It's massive.
Barrett Jones leading the way for the Crimson Tide up front as well. I mean,
he moved inside to center, to make way for Kwanjo.
Kansas State just pounding Miami. I think it's 52-6 now or something like that.
Yeah, it's ugly.
What has happened to the Hurricanes? Hunter Furr, the junior, gets the carry, gain of 2 on the play. And Andre, I know you've been thinking about it. It's time to reveal the answer to our Regents Bank trivia question, and the question was, when was the last time that no SEC team was ranked #1 during the poll at some point during the year, whether week 1 or week 10? How about 2005? Now, fans, be sure to visit the Regions tent next weekend in Fayetteville, Arkansas for their SEC Trivia Challenge event. Regions Bank, official bank of the SEC.
Well, that's before it all got started. The national championship runs by the SEC. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. Usually I can come up with an answer for you. That one had me stumped a little bit.
Well, when they told me the question this morning, I immediately claimed ignorance and went to the books. Because there's no chance I would remember that. Boy, look at the last 10 BCS champions. And of course, Southern Cal's 04 title was vacated. Some people think Auburn should have been given that title where they went undefeated. But what a run for the SEC in 06 through 11. Can they add one in 12? Four-man rush by the Gamecocks. Pass is caught by Justin Hardy, who is just a player, folks.
He is just a player. Look at him. He works himself back to the quarterback, runs through the football, and immediately turns and gets north and south. I love that. Excellent after the catch, good in space, tough receiver.
7 catches, 77 yards for Mr. Hardy.
Bright future for him.
Handoff goes to Ventavious Cooper. Cooper drives the pile out over the 40. Give him 8 yards on that pickup. South Carolina team, Andre, they will have another non-conference game against UAB next weekend, and then it opens up Missouri, Kentucky, Georgia, LSU, Florida, all the way until November 17th. All conference games until November 17th. They'll finish up Wofford and Clemson, their last 2 ball games. Cooper with the carry, no fumble. He's ruled down, but he'll be shy of the first down. Today's First and 10 line brought to you by your local Toyota dealers.
It is. See how close it is for East Carolina to pick up a first down.
By the way, Mississippi State all over Auburn, 28-10. That one in the closing seconds. Carden will pick up the first down and a little bit more into South Carolina territory at the 47. Give him a 10-yard pickup. Quinn Smith will get credit for pushing him out of bounds.
A nice play fake. Follow the running back into the line of scrimmage, and all of a sudden Carden's running around the end for the first down. You guys have a natural knack for play action and faking the football, hiding it well.
First down and 10. Play action. Carden has all day to throw. Will step up and fire a little high, and that's incomplete. Looking for Jabril Solomon, and that'll give me a chance to ask you your question now, because we're starting to see some football being played, and so much talk about the SEC West and the powerful teams in the West. But Andre, the more I think about it, this East race is going to be a wild ride. Tennessee looks much improved. Georgia's in the top 10. South Carolina's in the top 10. And you got Florida. And I'm still not sure what to make of the Gators just yet.
If they can get consistent quarterback play with 10 starters returning on defense, I think it could be a special year for Florida, but it's tough and hard now to ignore the South Carolina Gamecocks. When you have this type of defense that they play, and the 2 bookends and Taylor and Clowney, great players in the secondary, and then consistent play at quarterback, when they can mix it up and they're not all run, where they have you on your heels defensively, that makes it tough to prepare for the Gamecocks on both sides of the football. They'll be in it, that's for sure. It may be even the favorite, in my opinion, to win it.
Yeah, so much has been made about Georgia, but after watching South Carolina today throw it around, you have to maybe consider them the favorites at this point.
I could easily see in the Georgia Dome, the end of the season, South Carolina and Alabama. Look at the size here of that defensive line. We're talking about 6'8". On the outside, that makes it tough for a quarterback to see down the field. And you got two big guys inside pushing the pile. Tough going forward for some South Carolina opponents.
I know this. South Carolina would love another chance to head to the Georgia Dome. There were a lot of issues involved in their last trip. They would love to redeem themselves.
I think what the fans had a chance to witness today, there, the expectations are for them to get there.
Carden all day, deep down the middle, wide open is Justin Hardy.
Boy, great protection by the offensive line of East Carolina. Just gave Carden all day to throw the football, and look who's on the other end of that baby.
8th catch of the afternoon for 111 yards for Justin Hardy.
It's not like they rushed 2 or 3. This is a 4-man rush. They can't get there, and then Hardy finds a nice soft spot in the defense behind coverage.
Point after's up and good, so East Carolina with 10 points here in the second half. 9 minutes to go in this one. Gamecocks in control.
Coming up after this game, most of you will see #1 Alabama host Western Kentucky. It's the 5th straight season Nick Saban has had the Crimson Tide at the top of the polls. By the way, Mississippi State beats Auburn 28-10. Tigers now 0-2.
Of course, we'll head over there. Perfect timing for us to go over there and talk to the Auburn coach. Just right. They'll be in pleasant moods when we get there. But speaking of not so pleasant moods, Nick Saban a little upset this week with a lot of issues. But when you look at it as a fan, I mean, these are impressive numbers from McCarron, Yeldon, Lacey, and Milner.
Yeldon, unbelievable. And his first shot at it at Alabama, 11 carries, 111 yards. I think that's going to be a nice mix for Alabama on the ground. Yeldon and Lacey. And you go back, Ingram and Richardson and Lacey last season produced the national championship, and you got two that are ready to step in with Lacey and Yeldon this season.
Like East Carolina setting up for the onside kick, and covered well by the Gamecocks. D.L. Moore on the coverage for the Gamecocks. But back to that 2 running back thing, and it's interesting at Georgia. Keith Marshall, Todd Gurley, 2 top 10 running backs coming out of high school. Both guys decide to go to Athens as true freshmen. And, you know, as Mark Richt told us, while you and I may have been shocked, and a lot of other people, he says, you know, these guys realize in today's game, you need 2 tailbacks. You're going to split carries.
And I was shocked as well that both guys went to Georgia, same position. You usually have that as a couple of receivers and other positions that, you know, there are 2 where 2 guys can share in the wealth, but one football for running backs. They agreed, you know, I'll come out after 15 carries and you get the other 15, and we make sure we both get 15. It's amazing, but Todd Gurley is a star in the making, and it's what Georgia fans have been used to at that position. That's what he brings.
Well, he'll have his first road test tonight as Georgia travels to Missouri. Coming up in just a little while, it'll be Florida making their inaugural visit over to Texas A&M. Here's a little dump. Pass is caught. Kenny Miles inside the 25. That's a 19-yard pickup.
The receivers blocking down the field. Excellent job by Dylan Thompson of just getting the rush to his lap and then dumping the screen pass to Miles.
Well, Dylan Thompson has provided the right stuff. He's our Academy Sports Player of the Game for his efforts. To the end zone, trying to add to it. Cannot. Incomplete.
Nice play there by
Looking
Armstrong.
for D'Angelo Smith.
Armstrong was beaten deep earlier, but there on a couple of occasions, that play and then earlier in the game had a pass breakup as well that would have ended up in a touchdown reception. 3 big plays by Adonis Armstrong.
19 of 34, 316, 3 touchdowns for Dylan Thompson. Nice little stutter step from KJ Brent. Redshirt freshman picks up 3. Dylan Thompson.
You could just see in his body language the confidence just growing.
You know, he comes in as he came to South Carolina as a dual sport guy. Was also an excellent hoops player. Actually had an offer to play basketball from Louisiana Tech, but came here to play some football. Went to the same high school as former Gamecock quarterback Phil Petty. Actually considered East Carolina among his options out of high school. KJ Brent, first down out of bounds at the 12, a gain of 11. Jacoby Jenkins will run him out of bounds.
You can see Thompson's game continuing to grow as well. He looks coverage inside on that play and then shoots it out to Brent along the side. Watch the eyes, looking inside and nothing there, just shoot it out. That's knowing where the receivers are, playing with, almost toying with the defense.
Right, wearing out that arm. Hadn't thrown it this much in a long time.
Ice on that baby when it's all said and done.
6th pass of this drive won't happen. Loss of 9. Monteese Overton, the redshirt freshman out of Greenville, North Carolina, will slam Thompson to the ground.
Like Roy Anderson, the receiver to that side of the tight end, missed a block. Allowed for the sack by Overton.
Thompson will sling it again, or hope to anyway. Well, that's about the 4th or 5th drop today. Kenny Miles on that drop, but
boy, you talk about can't throw it any better, right on the chin of Kenny Miles. Wanted to run, looks like he was running before he caught the football and put his hands up.
You know, 67 plays in this game, 432 yards of offense. Pretty good numbers for this South Carolina offense. On the flip side, surprising as I look over at the stat sheet here, how about 374 yards of offense for East Carolina? Bigger number than I anticipated. Thompson gets out of trouble again, and he will scoot it to the 10, to the 5. Big collision and loses the football. Who's got it? East Carolina comes away with it. Thompson asking for a little too much.
That's one where you just got to get out of bounds and you got all you can get. You're being pursued by Darrell Johnson along that sideline and everybody's closing in. Now you got the secondary and you're right. I think that's exactly what Steve Spurrier's telling him. Get out of bounds. Nothing there. Get yourself out of bounds. South Carolina still leading this one big though, 41-10.
Fumble gives it back to East Carolina. Dylan Thompson got inside the 5-yard line. The collision. Inside that collision, coughs up the football, and East Carolina will have it with 6:08 to play. Inside handoff, a couple of yards, and that'll be it on that carry. SEC Network Scholar Athlete features Matt Milner of East Carolina, junior defensive end with a 4.0 in applied physics. And how about Adam Yates, 3.7 in international hospitality and tourism management. How do you get into that? I like that.
Oh, no, it sounds pretty interesting, though.
It sounds good. There's a run from Vintavious Cooper. That's a gain of 10. So, Andre, as you look at South Carolina, we've talked a lot about the new dimension, I guess you call it new, but slinging the ball around like they did today for over 300 yards. What do you make of this Carolina team moving forward? What's it going to take for them to not only win the East, but be a factor for an SEC championship.
Well, just basically what they did today, and I think this gives them the best chance to win football games, get back to that 11, at least 11 wins this season. But I turned on the film, and I'm watching South Carolina on the offensive side of it. I saw a zone read team that could not throw the football effectively. And today was a totally different team offensively. It resembled more of what they did in 2010 as well as last year. So there's a difference there. I like this version that we saw today, which is the reason I think going forward that Dylan Thompson will be the quarterback of the South Carolina Gamecocks. It allows you to be diverse. You can run the football as well as throw and not become one-dimensional.
Defensively, this is a team that's given up 400 yards today, but only 10 points. They all came here late in the second half, a gain of 4 for Hunter Furr. But defensively, Jadeveon Clowney was just a factor, and the stats won't show the impact he had as we look at our Polaris hardest working player of the game.
No, I credit him with the 2 interceptions, but he certainly caused them to happen, or he made them happen. When you can't step into throws, you've got the quarterback short arming things right there. The second one right into the arms of DJ Swearinger. Playing well against the run. Boy, he is something to deal with.
We watch East Carolina, and Shane Carden came in, starts the second half, threw an interception right away. There's Mr. Clowney.
He's chilling right now.
East Carolina goes with that quarterback switch, and it was a race for the starter spot coming out of fall camp, and Rio won that battle. But as a quarterback who has been around the makeup of races like what's going to happen with that position?
No, they'll go back to practice. I think Johnson will start next week, but they'll have somewhat of a competition. He just has this calming effect, I think, on a football team. Carden, though, has made some outstanding plays here, but as well, I will emphasize this is against a lot of reserves that South Carolina now has on the field. They were dialing up all kinds of pressure and bringing all types of different looks on Rio Johnson.
Yeah, we're at the point now where a lot of guys aren't on the too deep or on the football field right now for South Carolina.
And we're all the way down to Cedric Cooper, redshirt freshman at outside linebacker. So we're deep into the third team for Carolina.
Good kick. Take fair catch called for. 48-yard punt, no return.
Carolina will have it.
South Carolina running the football with 3:09 to go in a 41-10 ball game. South Carolina looking like they'll go to 2-0 on the year. Dave Neal, Andre Ware, Karen Capuano from Williams-Brice Stadium in the home opener for South Carolina, the 9th-ranked team in the country. Dylan Thompson got the starting quarterback for the injured Connor Shaw. Dylan Thompson has put up some good numbers, 21-37, 330 yards. Seth Strickland comes in to take the final few snaps for the Gamecocks. True freshman Mike Davis out of Lithonia, Georgia. It's his first carry today. And we wrap it up here. We will send most of our audience to the Alabama game. Alabama, Western Kentucky coming up right here on the SEC Network in a few moments. Doubleheader. Nice stutter steps from Mike Davis. Very talented. True freshman running back. Our BMW drive of the game. We'll go back to that opening drive for South Carolina.
Missed there on the first completion, tried to go deep. Was an overthrow, and then he landed that one, the next one to Demir Bird on the outside shoulder. That got it all started. Marcus Lattimore with a nice touchdown run to cap off that first drive for Dylan Thompson, and he never looked back after that.
Davis drops it.
competition, those two guys, Ottershot, total support, and Dylan Thompson, but you'll get the input of the entire staff on that decision of who goes forward as the starting quarterback, and I think 17 allows them to do just a little bit more.
Handoff goes to Mason Harris.
Joshua Blue on the carry for the Gamecocks.
Excuse me, Joshua Blue, 234's got the wrong one. My bad. That's where we are right now.
Those double numbers wear you out. That's right.
And we are deep into the.
Just roll up my board here.
Yeah, and let me wing it. Thanks, partner.
Just go straight to the.
Thank you, man. Thanks for all the help. There goes Strickland on the carry. Gain of 9. So South Carolina now closing in on 500 yards of offense. They're at 477. On the ground, Lattimore, 13 carries, 40 yards. Over the middle, pass is caught. Rory Anderson will take it in, 51 yards. His second touchdown grab of the game. And Seth Strickland with the touchdown pass.
He got a lot of targets to throw the football. Remember, Bruce Ellington was in the game and had a couple of nice plays early. Demir Bird got it all started. Now Rory Anderson, kind of a hybrid wide receiver, tight end. There's some talent. D.L. Moore, Nick Jones. It's endless for these South Carolina quarterbacks.
Like Coach Spurrier making a change with his PAT team. Landon Ard will come in and attempt this point after. Adam Yates had been kicking the point afters. So that kick is up and good. So Ard, who does the kickoffs now in the scoring column. That'll take us to a timeout. 48-10, South Carolina out in front. Today's SEC Network game is brought to you by Regions Bank, proud sponsor of the SEC. Polaris, see the hardest working, smoothest riding off-road vehicle now at your local dealer. The 5th annual Charleston Classic. And by Hyundai. Go online and show your loyalty to your school at HyundaiShowYourLoyalty.com. Look at the horseshoe here on campus at the University of South Carolina. Inside Williams-Brice Stadium. Gamecocks lead at 48-10. And Derek Harris will take a knee, and they'll bring it out to the 25. Quick short break. Right back to Columbia right after this. East Carolina 48-10, 44 seconds to go in this one, and Gamecocks is trying to stay healthy here as they will go to 2-0 on the season. East Carolina will go to 1-1. Time now for our Allstate Good Hands Play of the Day. Brought to you by Allstate, and here it is.
Jimmy LeGree just steps right in front of Rio Johnson's intended pass. Justin Hardy, and he read it well, jumped the route, and housed that baby.
4 interceptions today from that secondary of South Carolina. And the clock ticks down under 10 seconds, and the Gamecocks will win it in convincing fashion, 48-10. And ball coach got to throw it around a little bit today to the tune of 528 yards of total offense, 397 through the air. Don't forget, next week, the SEC Network hits Auburn as they host Louisiana Monroe at noon Eastern. So for Andre, Karen, the rest of our crew, I'm Dave Neal saying so long from Columbia. Let's head down I-20 now to Tuscaloosa.